I'd like to call tonight's select board meeting to order. It's Monday, October 15th, 2024. As per custom, we'll all rise and pledge allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very much. Next item on the agenda is fiscal year 24 AP warrant number 10, the amount of $469,943.14.
I'll move that we pay fiscal year 25 AP warrant number 10 in the amount of $469,943.14.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay fiscal year 25 AP warrant number 10, the amount of $469,943.14. Is there any discussion? Andrew?
It's not the RSU this time. Our bond payments came due.
There's also paving in there too, big paving bill.
Any further discussion? I'm kind of speechless. Seeing none, all in favor? Wow, without any reluctance. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is payroll journal number 154, the amount of $11,937.35.
I will move that we pay payroll journal number 154 in the amount of $11,937.35.
A second.
Been moved and seconded to pay payroll journal number 154 in the amount of $11,937.35. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the minutes of the previous meeting. We have minutes for the regular meeting, September 23rd, 2024, and minutes of the executive session, October 2nd, 2024. Would you like to make a motion for both minutes, please?
I will move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of September 23rd, 2024, and executive session on October 2nd, 2024, as provided.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of a regular meeting, September 23rd, and executive session of the select board, October 2nd, 2024. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public comment on any non-agenda item. This is an opportunity for any resident of the town of Pownell to step forward and be heard by the select board. Is there anybody in the audience tonight who would like to be heard by the select board who's not on the agenda? I think we're expecting a very small person, so why don't you come up to the, must have been the kids' show.
Actually a resident of Bowdoin, but I'm hoping to be your state representative. And just in the future, any help I can be, if I'm elected to help the town of Pownell, I'll be happy to do it. I just came here to say that.
Oh, what's your name, sir?
Guy Labita.
Well,
Yep.
good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right. So I got to head to a Lisbon town meeting now.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll send that back out. There it is.
Is there any other resident? Okay, next item on the agenda is department head reports. Department head reports can be viewed on their respective website. Just click on the department and their reports are there. Mr. O'Brien, any question from department heads that are here at this time?
I have none.
Stay? I have none either. Any reports from the select board at this time? Andy?
Just, I'm very pleased to say that the Pownell Fire Company has taken on the Toys for Tots program for this Christmas time, and there's a donation box at the store if anybody feels like giving an unwrapped gift.
Would that be something that maybe we could put on the website?
I think we could.
Yes, and there's a donation box in the lobby too downstairs.
Great. And yeah, neither do I. Next item is new business. We have the fiscal year 24 audit and adjustments in front of us. Becky, is there anything you'd like to say about it?
It's really just the standard adjustments, basically for actuals, the FY 24 payables that was paid in this fiscal year backwards. And then the second page is the carry forward request towards the grant. So everything is pretty standard.
Any questions for Becky?
I have none.
This is definitely nighttime reading. Okay. Do that. Choose the right to come back to this after having read it. Next item on the agenda is charge for Economic Development and Sustainability Committee.
I believe we should keep the charge as it stands right now.
Why?
I did not print it. so-
I think it pretty much encompasses a broad range of duties for the Economic Development and Sustainability Committee.
So there's no sort of change in focus or change?
Not necessarily. It's going to change from time to time as they go through, but I think that encompasses all the changes.
All right, then no actions needed. Ms. Day, you have any suggestions, any recommendations for the economic?
Not this time.
Next item on the agenda is the town office closure.
We have a pretty large election coming up in a couple of weeks. So we also are going to open at 7 a.m. To try to capture some people on the way to work and spread out the crowd. So I'm just requesting that the counter service be shut down for the day so we can focus on the election. We're expecting about 90% turnout, and our voter list has gone up to 1,600 registered voters now. The voter registration has been booming the last few weeks. We did tons today. We've issued over 200 absentee ballots already. People are really participating in this election. We want to be able to focus.
Any objections to the town?
Now I'll move that we allow them to close for the election.
A second.
Moved and seconded, discussion, all in favor?
Thank
Are you all set for election workers? Are we all set?
For the most part, yeah, Pascal is finalizing the schedule. It looks like we've got a pretty good team. We've broken them down into 3 to 4 hour shifts because of opening early and it being as busy. But with 20 plus volunteers, we're in good shape.
So, typically the select board during presidential elections has a presence. So we can divide this up into 3. Kate, you seem to be the one who has most juggling to do. Is there any time you could spend 3 hours session?
I can be flexible that day.
Andy?
Yep, I can come in the afternoon, evening tour.
Close up?
Yep,
Would you be able to come from 2 to 5?
Yep.
So I'll be here. Okay. So just in case we have any, whatever.
unruly.
Well, there are limitations to what we can perform, but we can be here. Okay, sorry, I got lost in thinking about it. How many? 1,600
When I checked today, I was putting 2 more in and it put us at 16 registered voters for the town, and we had more registrations come in this afternoon. Yeah, so when I first came on board 3 years ago, we had 1,400.
Yeah.
And it's just been amazing how much participation, a lot of first-time voters or inactive voters reactivating their status that haven't participated in the last couple of gubernatorial races. So people are getting involved.
So is a suggestion that these aren't new residents, these are just people who have been here and haven't registered and now.
Or 18-year-olds that it's their first one. It's a mixture, I think, of all three. New residents, yep, inactive voters and newly turned 18-year-olds.
Super cool.
Yep.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is CEO position and CEO oaths we have before us. The oath and position. Andy?
You have it before you.
I move that we appoint Timothy Getting as code enforcement officer of the town of Pownell. The appointment will start October 15th and term expires June 30th, 2025.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to appoint Timothy Getting as code enforcement officer. Date appointment to begin October 15th, 2024 and expire June 30th, 2025. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Those are all the oaths that the CEO holds. So E911, building inspector, plumbing inspector, electrical inspector. So there's actually 5 oaths. So that's all of them.
Did our nomination encompass all 5 or do we have to nominate all?
You could do a second motion for the remaining 4.
Okay, I move that we appoint Timothy Getting as town electrical inspector, town building inspector, town plumbing inspector, and town 911 emergency officer. Position to be filled October 15th and to expire June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded to appoint Timothy Getting electrical, building, plumbing, 911 officer, beginning October 15th, 2024, ending June 30th, 2025. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Do we have a start date for him? Like when he's gonna be in the office? Okay, he was gonna come in and do paperwork, but I wasn't sure when he was actually like starting. Okay.
And it'd be appropriate at this point in time, I think, to inform the town that we have also hired a deputy code enforcement officer, Mr. Bill Schmidt, and we'll have to oath him and get him on board. So congratulations to Tim Gettings and congratulations to Bill Schmidt.
I gotta sign that too. Oh,
Sure, could you go to the mic so we
Susan Peters, I am just wondering about the change. I know we had one code enforcement officer, so what's,
That's correct. We had one code enforcement officer that was able to work 36 hours. So these 2 appointees can only work half-time. So we split the hours up so that we can have complete coverages. So we had to sort of reinvent a new position called deputy code enforcement officer so that we can cover the office for 36 hours.
okay, so it's
No-
like,
No change in pay, no change in benefits. Just-
so it's 1 employee, 2 employees doing 36 hours a week.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
We'll prepare oaths for Bill for signing next time.
Could we nominate him now and prepare oath so that he come in, and get going?
Absolutely.
So I would like to nominate William Schmidt as Deputy Code Enforcement Officer beginning October 15th, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded to appoint William Schmidt, Deputy Code Enforcement Officer, starting October 15th, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2020. Is there any further discussion? Favor? Motion carries. So I will tell Mr. Schmidt to come in and
Yeah, we'll have paperwork to get ready. Do we need to deputize him for the other ones? Okay.
next item on the agenda is abandoned Tuttle Road. Who's gonna lead this one?
Well, I guess I should, considering I was involved in the email chain.
Thanks, Brian.
I was contacted by Beth Smith from Bernstein Shore. She represents Tim and Emily. I'm not sure on the pronunciation of the name, but host,
So close.
please.
Hakes.
Hakes, okay,
The fish.
okay, okay. Are under contract to purchase the property located at 645 Hallowell Road in Pownell. As part of their due diligence on the property, they have asked my office to examine the title of the portion of the Tuttle Road that runs along the southerly boundary of the property to determine the legal status of the road. I understand that you have spoken to and exchanged emails with Donna Severance in my office in connection with this effort. Thank you for taking the time to talk with her and share what you know about the history of the road. My office performed an exhaustive search on the online records of the Cumberland County Registry of Deeds for information regarding this portion of the road. Based on that research and our understanding that the town of Pownell has not maintained this portion of Tuttle Road for more than 30 years, I have concluded that this portion of the road was abandoned pursuant to 33 MRSA Section 3028. According to this statute, upon abandonment, fee ownership of this portion of the road automatically passed to the abutting property owners to the center line of the road. However, the town of Pownell retained a public easement giving members of the public the continued right to use this portion of the road for access. As you may know, and I didn't, effective October 1st, 2021, Section 3028 was repealed and replaced with the new abandonment process set forth in 33 MRSA Section 3028A. This new section requires municipalities to undertake numerous procedural steps to declare a road abandoned, including notice to all affected property owners and a public hearing. But by its own terms, the new statute does not alter the status of a townway abandoned by a municipality or county under the terms of the former Section 3028. Since this portion of the road was abandoned under the terms of former Section 3028, prior to the enactment of the new statute, the former statute controls and the new procedures set forth in Section 3028A, written notice to affected property owners, public hearing, etc., do not apply here. In order to clear title and memorialize the abandonment of the road, please review the attached notice of determination of presumption of abandonment. If you agree with the facts and findings as I've outlined them, please arrange to have the notice signed and returned to me so that I may get it recorded. Please call or email with any questions. So I sent this to our attorney to look it over. And unless a prior select board made a determination under section 3028, the town must comply with the many requirements of 3028A. At a minimum, this requires notice to affected property owners. While she does not agree with Attorney Smith's analysis that the road apparently has been abandoned since the town has not maintained it for well over 30 consecutive years, she's also assuming that the town has not received any funds from the state for more than 84 months of the 30 or more consecutive year period. The only way the select board can act upon this request is to follow the requirements of 23 MRSA section 3028A. If the board wishes to do this, we will work with you to prepare an outline of the required steps and the necessary notice. However, everyone should understand that this will not happen quickly since the notice has to be given at least 30 days prior to the hearing. The statute doesn't require a public hearing, but there is a provision that requires one if 25% of the affected residents request it. As such, I would recommend having the notice be for a public hearing. The board is not required to go through this procedure, though, which
That means.
I have no idea what that means.
Well, thank you, Anthony. You are an excellent reader. So, I think that the board should recommend that we ask our attorney to prepare the outline of required steps.
Yes.
I think it's only, we should settle this. We have to go through the extra steps. At least the applicant will understand that the board is, you're the applicant. Right?
I'm the applicant.
Hi, I'm John. Please-
Hi, John.
So we will, with the board's permission, ask our attorney to prepare an outline of the required steps and necessary notice. As she has said, it's gonna take some time. I have a feeling that the state park will want to be involved with this because they have a pure interest there. So that will require, as soon as the state's involved, that requires a public hearing. But there's absolutely, no. I don't see any way to skirt transparency that we need. So, nor would we want to. Lie. Do either member of the board have any objections to sending this back to Ms. Burns? And
I have no objection.
I have no objection, however, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Andy, were you able to review the attached notice of determination of presumption of?
Yes, I was.
That's in all the emails. That's something that I haven't seen.
Yeah, they were using my personal email and I have advised them to please send it to the select board.
I don't need to see it immediately, but I would.
I can forward
I
it
would
to
appreciate
you.
forwarding that.
Yep.
Thank you.
would you forward that to the,
Select board email. Yep.
does that give you a little peace of mind?
Yes, it does. And I just want to reaffirm that the town retains the right of way, no matter what. So,
Okay. This is a new one for us, for this particular board, so we'll follow the
me
attorney.
too.
Thank you, Andy, for,
Yep, I will forward that as soon as I find it in amongst
yeah,
my 9,000 emails, yeah.
okay. Next item, going from abandoned roads to abandoned trash. Becky,
You might notice the invoice from Hannaford looks a little bit different than the last time. So after a little bit of deep diving back into our previous email conversations, I said, hey, you said there were only 60 large bags, not 60 cases. And she came back and said, I've never done an invoice. My mistake. It wasn't $17,000. We only owe them $87. Which I'm like, I'll cut you a check. So that's the good news of the night as far as the trash bags with Hannaford, and then they're done. The other two pieces, we're still getting ACH deposits 3 months later, and Dan,
Can you say what ACH means?
so when there's remote sales, at Hannaford and Shaw's and Bow Street Market, we get what's called an ACH, deposit for the funds once a month, for those remote sales. Now it teetered down to about $500 in August, and it was back up to 3,000 in September. And the dates were August dates. So the chair of solid waste, Dan, went and scoped all the retailers out, and nobody's got them on the shelf. So we don't know why. Maybe it was some late captures. Waste Zero has not commented yet on where these are coming from. So that's the first sort of puzzling piece of the night. The second piece is Dan and I both reached out to Casella and North Yarmouth about selling the bags. They're installing AI technology, so it would not unfortunately work with them. And their bags are orange, so they'd have to have the program right to accept blue and orange, and then have the program written to not accept the blue when they were gone, and they were afraid it would confuse residents. So they kindly declined our offer, but thanked us for thinking of them.
So,
Some of these retailers may be sending us funds in arrears too.
That could very well be.
all right, well, do we have a place in the accounting to accept those funds?
Yeah, it goes, I mean, it's going into the revenue bag sale line right now. That's where I'm posting it. That line isn't, it's not funded with revenue, but,
It'll just show up next year's audit. as
Correct.
Funds.
as excess revenue. Yeah.
All right, so does anybody have any objections to Becky paying, have you paid them already?
I have not paid them.
I will move that Becky pays Hannaford the $87 for the 60 large pound trash bags.
Moved, seconded, any objection, discussion? All in favor? Good. That's a good story. All right, now. How many cases do we have?
76.
76 cases, and how many in each case? Do we have any idea?
I'd have to, it says on the outside, bundles of 5, maybe 50 bundles of 5 in a case of the large, so 250.
Stuart Brown.
We could cut eye holes in each bag and we could have a lot of blue ghosts running around for Halloween.
Well, somehow, and that being a solid waste commission, we need to find a tactful way to distribute those to the towns.
They're still on the proposal of putting a bin out in the lobby and letting people take them for free.
But wouldn't it be great to coordinate that with our election?
Well, that was what Dan was thinking when we met last week. With the election coming, we could,
Has the solid waste committee met?
2 or 3 weeks ago was their last meeting, and then Dan met with me last week to just go over some things. Because we both, I'll remind him to include you on the emails.
So let's get back to him and come up with a strategy to have those bags available in, in a reasonable amount of, so they can grab quantity, not just one. Make it, so they can grab.
Mhm.
Why don't you use these to, because they have to use them to dispose, they have to use trash bags to dispose of their trash.
Correct. Yep.
So you might as well use high test ones.
At least until they're gone.
So that would require some information, I think, on the website or something, or a poster
Mhm.
saying, we have a surplus, please take a bundle, use them.
I'll see if Dan can put something together real quick. I'm sure he can. He's very, very crafty.
That sound good? A lot of trash. But maybe we can have, maybe we can have a habit, people come pay their taxes. Get a bundle of trash bags as a party. Okay, well, thank you for the good news. This is a good one. Security system update. Andy.
Security system, I had this Josh Waite come in and take a look at our security system that is currently with Seacoast Security. This man is from Cunningham Security. We're looking at having them take over the monitoring and servicing of it, since we can't seem to get anybody to fix it from Seacoast. Long story short, they will match the current monitoring costs, but there is a purchase price for them to inspect the system completely and do a post inspection after they have taken it over. They're also going to move the antenna, because it's a Starlink system, from the basement to outside, because there is no signal in the basement, so it's getting very poor signal. So the total cost is $676.06.
They do this changeover.
Anytime we give the blessing.
So, Kate, do you have any thoughts about this? Have they started calling you yet? I gave them your number.
No, I have not received any calls.
Well,
There were 8 over the weekend and it's for a new zone and new problem. And I emailed and I said, what is going on? This is now another, and they said, now it's the sprinkler system sending a message and thank you. Yeah. It's just each week it's a
But it wasn't.
different failure of something. I'm like,
and is there any possible budget line item that we can take this particular money out without incurring the wrath?
Some of this could be with the upgrade of the offices.
We definitely need to have those offices secure.
Yep.
That would be our.
that would be our.
Correct.
Andy, that's genius. Why don't you make a motion to it?
I will move that we include this in our upgrade of the office spaces to secure them and move our monitoring from Seacoast Security to Cunningham Security.
Second.
Moved and seconded to appropriate. Amount. $676.06 from the ARPA funds designated to renovate the old selectman's office and use it to secure Cunningham security system to provide our security alarm.
Security and fire protection.
All in favor?
Andy, can you sign it since he put your name as the signature and then I can send that back to him tomorrow? Perfect, thank you. Will be number 1 priority in the morning.
Yes, the last 4 months of telephone calls have been fantastic.
Everybody can get a good night's sleep in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
Speaking of new office, where would we be right now, do you think, in the new office?
Matt's moved into his and Tom can anytime. The printer still needs one function set up for scanning, but other than that, it's ready.
The internet's all,
Everything is ready to go. Yep, all installed. Matt's been running in there for about a week and a half now. Yep,
so the voting room is all clear for,
for the most part, yes.
great.
They're gonna move some large furniture tomorrow, but they wanted Tom here for layout. Dick and Kathy are gonna come up. I hope Dick knows that. Kathy told me that this morning.
Wow, that's quite an accomplishment.
Mhm. A lot of volunteers made that happen.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is personnel policy edits. So here's a situation where we've had to, since the personnel policy is the personnel ordinance is now a
Policy.
policy. And we have the authority to amend or change some of the conditions. And in this particular situation, I'm going to move that we amend the personnel policy to include creating a code enforcement officer that is part-time with the do we call it class one compensation?
Level 1, level 2, and level 3.
Level one compensation benefits. Is there a second on that?
I think, John, we have to put some sort of a disclaimer in the front of under the purpose that we reserve the right to negotiate with parties on a case-by-case basis or something like that.
Do you mind, Andy? What I've
Yeah.
seen in others is it says that select boards reserve the right to make exception to the policy on a case-by-case basis. Then you don't have to redefine the policy. You have the ability to make those exceptions if you need to in order to attract talent. So if you put that, then you can come up with your compensation package if you have to deviate from the level 1, level 2, and level 3.
Okay. So let's proceed that way, okay? So we're gonna add to the purpose that the select board reserves the right to
To make exception on a case-by-case basis.
That be under enforcement 105.
That might be the best place. Because you're the holder of the policy,
Right.
so yeah, that's probably the best section, because the rest of it doesn't apply. Yeah, so I would put it under 105, enforcement of policy. Okay, I'll make the edits and send them out, just so you can take a look at them. Sure, it looks good.
Okay, with that edit, we need to move
Oh,
to
sorry.
Yep.
accept that.
With the revision to the motion, I will second it.
So then moved and seconded to revise the personnel policy under section 105 to include allowing exceptions to the policy to address compensation. To allow the select board flexibility to hire in this current work.
I'll come up with, yeah, we'll have wording.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
A question.
Absolutely, go.
How does this affect current and future positions?
Well,
I
doesn't,
mean, future positions.
it opens the door for the select board to be able to
Flexibility.
negotiate hiring people with a little bit more flexibility in terms of health benefits. I'm not sure if that's a Pandora's box or not, but given the current workplace, I think we need a little flexibility. We can always, revise it again. It doesn't work. We're not.
I can tell you that County Yarmouth Public Works has 9 positions. Only 4 are filled, and we're coming into winter right at the moment, and they're stuck with a contract. So they have no flexibility until that contract's reopened.
All departments, I speak out of ignorance here, but I'm assuming fire department has fairly good complement. The road department has never been as well manned. I think code enforcement agreement will be great. We're very fortunate. I think it comes from being able to be flexible. Okay, so we moved and I think we approved, so.
You haven't voted. Yeah.
All in favor? Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. All right. So I have before me the Future Facilities Committee final report. Is this a item that we need to?
No, that's not on your agenda. It was just your copies from Port City that I was giving you tonight. If you have any questions, the Future Facilities is open to sitting down and talking with you, but they couldn't coordinate everybody to be here in time, so they just said if you have questions, reach out, but if not, you're
I
good.
think at a future meeting, Port City Architecture will be here to speak on this.
So we're kind of in limbo.
No, but it gives you a chance to look through and see what their findings were. While we're on that subject, we're going to have to appoint another committee
Well, that's what I
at some
was
point.
wondering, but, it was supposed to be a report and a meeting. We had confusion at the date. We changed the date. That meeting was to give us direction to appoint. I think without a meeting, we're gonna be flying by the seat of our pants. I think I would like to talk to the architect, see which way to go on this one. Anyway, let's put this on the agenda for next time. All right, is there any other new business? How is the sign? That's certainly new business.
It's up. We need to get the electrical hooked up next. So the sign person was working on coordinating that for us. And I'm waiting to hear back when that person will come. Once that's done, we take a little Zoom sort of tutorial on the program and it's ready to go. So we're close. And we're gonna paint the posts white in the spring. That was supposed to be they were supposed to be white. Little discussion about that. It's just will be easier in the spring to paint them, but visibility is really not good in the dark like this. So the Mallet Hall Buildings and Grounds will take care of that in the spring.
I'm waiting for a snowplow to hit it before.
Is there power to that?
Yeah, we ran the power before we paved the parking lot, so we just need an electrician to connect the two.
Yeah, we ran conduit out to the pole.
Holiday decoration with lights out there
We could.
to make it a little bit more visible.
That's a good idea. You could just put white, so they're just.
And we could wrap the posts with lights.
Yep, good idea.
So we'd need an electrician, so how can we make that happen?
When he brings the electrician out, we'll have him put a outlet out there as well.
I'll send an email about that, because the install happened on a day we were closed. The install was supposed to be the 9th and it ended up being the Friday before. And I come in on Monday and I'm like, Okay, there's the sign, so.
Here's your sign.
Here's your sign.
Okay. So let's try to get that lit up before it gets taken out. Okay, any other new business?
Once we finalize the office renovations, we're still gonna have some money left over. Do we want to put that on the warrant for June to do something like heat pumps and for the meeting rooms?
Well, that money is controlled by ARPA.
It's a deadline, isn't it?
So I was gonna send an email once I had the final bills. So in June, we allocated 60,000 for renovations of offices in Mallet Hall. We're gonna be under that by quite a bit. So you can still use the money in Mallet Hall for renovations, but you'll wanna still have a warrant article next June just for the tracking purposes. Because when I reported to ARPA, I reported that it would be spent on renovations in Mallet Hall. So it's just a matter of me giving you a final figure, which I'll have in 2 weeks with the last bill coming in. The last 2 bills being paid out. And I think it's gonna be somewhere around $25,000 to $30,000 that you'll have. We came in nicely under budget on this, yes.
So we should probably put that to the Mallet Hall Committee. Say, so what would be the best way to use that to make this, maybe the voting room more user friendly? Whatever.
We'll also be in that resilience partnership by then, which opens us up to grants as well for things like heat pumps and lighting. And one thing, I don't know if I reported when I talked about this a month ago, is if we partner with another town on a grant application, they actually give you more money. So for instance, we asked for, there was a grant for $50,000 for heat pumps, and Durham wanted to do heat pumps, and we went together with Durham on it. They would give us $150,000 to split between the two towns, so that we each get 75,000 instead. So there's definitely some advantage to partnering around and seeing if we can collaborate with other towns and get more money through that program too. So that should be finalized in November.
Resilience program, give us names of other towns that are,
Yes, yep, I can get a full, North Star can provide me with a full listing, actually.
it's excellent news. Okay, old business. We still have a generator lounging about at the North Pownell Station.
Yep.
Please.
So everything's set. We're ready to move it. I had to wait for the tenant in the store to move his truck. And then I contacted the electrician and he's coming to move it as soon as he frees up some time in his schedule. And I've worked out with the road commissioner to bring in some gravel for Outback. And we're all set.
Mitigate.
Yes,
I need to say this. Mitigate the neighbors.
yes, her lawn, yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. How has our any trash calls under old business?
Allen Road didn't get picked up last week. They did yesterday? Oh, good.
Yes, they contacted the solid waste committee and they were working on a plan to come back. So I found out at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock this afternoon that they missed that whole road. I'm surprised we didn't get any calls.
People getting used to.
Still seeing some things like totes are backwards or back too far, or overpacked in some of the notes that come through, but that's about it.
All right, well, that's good. Any other old business?
I don't know if you're ready to report on Pownell Pumpkin Fest, but seemed like it was pretty well attended. Spent a few hours here.
Good.
Kathy's not here, but
Kathy's
she was there on the day.
I bet she was there a lot. Yeah. I unfortunately was called away, so I missed it. I had to go to a medical emergency. But I heard from 2 phone calls that it was a wonderful time, it was so well done. Something about bees. It's a bee question.
Apparently, we have some yellow jackets over around the corner.
About bees and how can the town not know that they had bees in the back of their building?
We don't go out there.
Well, I had to inform that this is actually a lie. That if you were only to know how many things the town doesn't know, it would be a long list, which really did not mollify. So we'll ask our animal control officer to investigate, I think. Okay.
Put on your bee suit.
I heard it was a great time. So thank you for all those who put in, especially Kathy Hoag, put in a tremendous amount of work. So is there any correspondence? Any phone calls? No, great. Is there any other business? Perfect. Then I'll move to go into executive session per personnel.
Second.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for taking care of that generator.